92% of self-made millionaires in America don't look like millionaires. They look like your neighbor who still asks if the store has a coupon. That number isn't a guess. It comes from decades of research into how ordinary people quietly become wealthy. And it should wreck every assumption you've ever made walking through a parking lot. Because right now, somewhere in your life, there's a person you've mentally filed under doing fine, nothing special. Wrong shoes, wrong car, wrong small talk. And there's someone else you filed under clearly made it. Better watch, louder story, a life that photographs well on a Saturday afternoon. One of those two people is far more likely to be actually wealthy than the other. And I'd bet you've got them backwards, the same way most of the country has it backwards, which is exactly why this pattern keeps hiding in plain sight year after year. By the time this ends, you'll be able to spot the difference in under a minute. No financial statements required. And I'm going to tell you about the one habit that separates people who look rich from people who stay rich. Because it's not what your parents told you, and it's not what social media is selling you either. But first, let's talk about why your brain keeps getting this wrong in the first place. Your brain reads status through symbols. Watch, car, shoes, zip code. It's fast, automatic, and almost always wrong. Psychologists call this the halo effect. One visible trait convincing you a whole bundle of other traits must be true. Shiny object, therefore successful person. Your brain finished that math before you even finished looking. You didn't choose it, it just happened, the way a reflex happens. Faster than your judgment could step in and correct it. So here's sign one, and it quietly unravels everything else. Genuinely wealthy people are boring on purpose. Not dull, undetectable. They've decided, somewhere along the way, that looking rich and being rich are competing goals, and only one of them compounds over time. You've met this person. Maybe it's an uncle who still drives the truck he bought back in 2011. Maybe it's a coworker who packs the same lunch every single day and quietly paid off his house at 41. You clocked him as fine. Not rich, just fine. That's the disguise doing exactly what it was built to do, and it's working on you right now with someone in your own life. Sign two. They ask about price after deciding they want something. Never before. Sounds small, it isn't. People performing wealth buy first and rationalize second. People with real wealth separate desire from decision, with a pause most of us can't sit through. Self-made millionaires, even decades into having money, still comparison shop groceries and gas and furniture. Not because they need to save $4, because the habit of asking, is this actually worth it, is the same habit that built the money in the first place, back when there wasn't much of it. You don't get to keep the muscle once you stop using it, no matter how much is sitting in the account. Here's your reward for staying this far. The reframe that changes how you see every showy person you'll ever meet again. Flexing is often a receipt for a loan, not proof of an asset. That car outside the club is financed most of the time, sometimes almost entirely. Monthly payment, quietly eating a paycheck nobody's seen. The quiet man parked 2 spots over in a 10-year-old sedan might own 4 properties nobody's ever seen the deeds to, and he'd rather keep it that way. Sign 3 lives in how people talk about money, not how they spend it. Someone genuinely secure talks about money like weather, matter of fact, occasionally strategic, rarely emotional about it either way. Someone performing wealth talks about money like identity, defensive, urgent, tied to self-worth in a way that leaks into every conversation. Listen for the tell. A secure person mentions, almost in passing, that they got a great deal. An insecure one announces what something cost, unprompted, like it's a credential he's handing you. You've felt this difference before, even if you never named it. One conversation makes you curious. The other makes you feel sold to. I think about a 28-year-old engineer I knew years back. Sharp, good salary, drove something that turned heads in the parking lot every morning. Every conversation with him somehow drifted back to money. His lease, his watch, the trip he was planning for spring. 3 years later, still renting the same 1-bedroom, still leasing the same kind of car under a new name. Meanwhile, the guy 2 cubicles over, same 3 shirts on rotation, almonds for lunch out of a Ziploc bag, quietly closed on a duplex nobody at the office knew about until the paperwork was already done. That's the whole trick of real wealth. It stands right next to the thing pretending to be it, and almost nobody clocks the difference in real time because one of them is loud and the other one isn't trying to be noticed at all. Sign 4. They protect their time before they collect more stuff. This is the uncomfortable one because it forces a real question. Would you rather look successful at work or actually be free from needing to prove it? Once people cross a certain financial threshold, they start trading money for hours instead of hours for money. They hire out the lawn. They batch the errands into one afternoon instead of scattering them across the week. Not because they're lazy, because they've done the actual math on what their hour is worth, and mowing grass isn't it not anymore. There's a pattern researchers keep finding across people who built serious wealth from nothing at all. Almost every one of them, no matter their field or background, started guarding their time like it was the one asset they could never buy back once it was spent. Because it is exactly that. Sign 5 is quieter, and it catches people off guard every time. Genuinely wealthy people stay calm in moments that make everyone else panic. A surprise expense, a slow month, a bad week in the business that would send most people into a spiral. Watch how someone reacts when something breaks, literally or financially, and you'll learn more about their real position than any car in their driveway could ever tell you. Panic is often the sound of thin margins stretched too far. Calm is often the sound of a cushion nobody else can see, built quietly over years nobody was watching. Now here's where it turns. The real signal was never any single item on this list. It's what someone builds when nobody's watching and nobody's clapping for them. A shopkeeper in a small town, modest storefront, faded hand-painted sign, the kind of place you drive past without a second look. Spent over a decade quietly buying up small parcels of land around town, one at a time whenever he had enough saved. No one clocked it. He still wore the same worn apron every shift, still swept his own floor at closing. He didn't need anyone to know because the knowing was never the point for him. The land was the point, and the land didn't care who was watching. That's sign 6. They build things nobody applauds for. Assets, not audiences. A rental property doesn't get you likes. A paid-off mortgage doesn't get a comment section cheering for you at midnight. And that's exactly why most people avoid the slow route entirely. We're wired for applause, and applause arrives instantly while equity takes years to even notice itself building underneath you. There's a pattern in lottery winner research that gets mentioned constantly, and it usually gets explained wrong. A huge share of winners end up close to broke within a handful of years, and the go-to explanation is bad spending habits. But the deeper reason sits underneath that. Money handed to you all at once skips the part where you build the identity capable of holding it. The shopkeeper wasn't wealthy because of the land itself. He was wealthy because of the version of himself that patiently bought that land, one parcel at a time, for 11 straight years, without needing anyone to clap along the way. Take the land away from a man like that and he'd simply start buying it again from nothing. That's the real difference between having money and becoming the kind of person money quietly sticks to. Sign 7. Their friend group doesn't talk about money constantly because nobody in the room needs to prove anything to anybody else there. Status anxiety mostly lives in rooms where everyone's insecure about the exact same thing at the exact same time. Remove that insecurity, and people stop performing entirely, almost overnight. If you want a fast, reliable read on someone's real financial footing, watch who they're actually relaxed around, not who they're trying to impress. Sign 8. They say no to upgrades that change how their life looks, not how it actually feels day to day. New phone every single year, the biggest house on the block, the newest version of everything. Before any of it, there's a quiet question running in the background of their mind. Does this improve my actual life? Or just how my life photographs to other people scrolling past it? Most upgrades fail that test completely. Most people buy them anyway, every time, without ever asking the question out loud, and then wonder why the feeling from the purchase fades out in a matter of days. Sign 9. Debt makes them uncomfortable, even smart debt, even debt they could technically afford without blinking twice. This one's worth sitting with for a second. Debt isn't a tool for people who feel secure. It's a tool secure people use sparingly and strategically. And there's a real, meaningful gap between those two ideas that most people never stop to consider. Behavioral economist Richard Thaler wrote extensively about this exact gap. The space between what people believe about their own decisions and what their spending actually reveals about them. Ask most people if they're good with money, and almost everyone says yes. Look at their statements, and the story usually falls apart within the first 2 pages. The people who are actually careful with debt rarely need to insist that they are. It just shows up quietly in how few payments they're juggling at once. And sign 10, the one people miss most often of all. They've stopped needing anyone to believe they're doing well. That's the whole tell right there. Once a person stops needing your validation about their money, they've usually already won the game you're still quietly playing without realizing it. So if you've spent years chasing the symbols, the car, the watch, the vacation photos everyone likes and comments on, I'm not telling you to feel bad about any of that. I'm telling you the finish line you've been running toward was never where you thought it was standing. The people who actually made it crossed a different line years ago, quietly, without an audience, and never once looked back to check if anyone had noticed them do it. If one of these 10 hit a little too close to home just now, tell me which one in the comments below. And if this changed how you'll size someone up the next time you meet them, hitting subscribe helps this reach more people who genuinely need to hear it before they waste another year chasing the wrong finish line entirely. You don't need anyone to know you're building something. You just need to keep building it quietly for as long as it takes, long after anyone stopped looking.